What's up everyone, it's Katherine Doskočilová and you're watching another one of my videos. Today we're going to be talking about confidence, something that I didn't really expect myself to be talking about so early. I was planning on having such videos, but I didn't think I would be recording that so early. So, well, here we are. We're gonna be talking about confidence and about stuff like surrounding that topic mostly, so let's get to it. So I brought my dictionary to find the meaning of the terminology based on a dictionary. So it says here, confidence, confidence in somebody, something, a feeling or belief that one can firmly trust or rely on somebody's ability or something that is said, reported, etc. To have loose confidence in somebody. I have a little confidence in him. Don't put too much confidence in what the papers say. There's a lack of confidence in the current government. A feeling of certainty, trust in one's own ability. He answered the questions with confidence. You are too shy. You should have more confidence in yourself. Yeah, actually this is what it says in here. And the word confident in itself, the adjective, says feeling or showing confidence in oneself or one's ability, or of something / that, feeling or showing certainty about something. Feel confident of succeeding, that one will succeed. Yeah, that's what the dictionary says. Thank you, we don't need you anymore. Okay, so let's talk about that. So confidence basically means being certain and having trust in our own abilities, meaning that we're not like chickening out about certain situations, and that we trust that things are gonna turn out nicely in different aspects in our lives, and that like I have a brain lag. Nice. We have people doing construction work here, but anyway, confidence basically means to have faith in yourself, to trust yourself, to be certain about your abilities and yourself, to basically to not to doubt yourself, and to be certain about all aspects in your life, or most of them, for the most part. This is what confidence means by the dictionary, at least. We're gonna discuss the rest further on in the video. Next thing I'm going to be discussing is my own experience with confidence, and how I've gotten to that point in my life with confidence and everything. So for the most part in my life, I didn't really have confidence. I didn't really like myself. I was just trying to find ways to like myself, and was mostly trying to fit in with people, because I just couldn't find things to love about myself. In many aspects of my life, I had lots of trouble putting trust in myself, being certain about the things that I'm doing, having faith in myself. I had big trouble with these things up until sometime in up until like 2020. Then like things like ever since 2020, things started going up and down, honestly. Like that's when kind of things started going on a weirder path. And ever since 2021 came, after like after June 2021, things just started going like they went from like this to this, and they started like getting better by the time. Like they went woo woo, yeah, that. And things like started getting better with me. I started going out of my comfort zone. I started making some changes in my life that were rather big. I started making changes in my mindset, and I still am making changes in my mindset. What else did I do? I started experimenting with the kind of clothes I would wear to help myself feel better about my own body. I started experimenting, doing different things with myself, by myself, and everything. And I started being like a bit nicer to myself whenever I could, at least. But yeah, for the most part, to like discuss that from the very beginning again, things in my life are kind of messy for the most part too. So I didn't really have the space to like find confidence, feel confidence in my body, feel better about myself, and overall have more faith in myself and in what I'm doing. And that kept on being like that for a long time. It kept on being like that, like I said, up until 2020. I would keep on, for example, getting really attached to men to find like male validation in order to feel better about myself, because I didn't like myself, I didn't feel good about myself, so I needed the external validation. I needed external validation from men in order to feel better about myself for a very long time. And even now that I'm like, I want to stay single, like I said in my previous video, I said that I want to be single. My brain is still trying to tell me to find someone again, to receive that male validation that I've been receiving for the past 5 years, almost 6. And like, it's really a constant fight at this point, but so far it's going well. Like sometimes it's really bad, but usually I'm able to handle it. But my journey with confidence is that I started from a place of always needing to fit in, always needing external validation, feeling the need to be like others, to do the things others did, and to dress like others in order to feel like I fit in, and like I'm not the outcast, and I'm not the black sheep. Although in the end it never really worked out for me, I just knew I could not just do whatever others did. It just never really felt right to me to just do whatever others did. Like, I felt like I could never just see someone and be like, I'm gonna do what this person is doing. Like, after some point, I would be like, this is too much, this is getting too much, and I would stop. Which honestly was a good thing, because that way I didn't end up doing a lot of bad things that I have seen lots of others doing. Like alcoholism, or nicotine addiction, or maybe sometimes even worse things, but not really. I'm just gonna talk about the things that are easier to find and we have easier access to. And I went from being in such a place, in a rather dark place regarding myself and my confidence, because I didn't like myself, I hated myself at some point even. I went from that place to finally being able to see myself from a different perspective, to see myself from a different point of view, to experience different things, to come to terms with lots of parts of myself that I couldn't come to terms with for a long time, like my body. My body couldn't come to terms with my body for many years, because I kept on having people around me telling me, you're so thin, you need to eat more, you don't eat enough, eat some more, you're like 40 kilograms, you need to gain weight, you're like tiny, I can put my grip around you. Okay, what do you want me to do about that? What the fuck do you want me to do about that? If you have such a problem with my weight, that's on you, not on me. So for many years I had problems with my body and my weight specifically. I also at some point had some problems with my height, because I would be kept on being called in a rather mockingly way that I'm short and shit, and it kind of annoyed me, because it would be done by a family member. So like, it was like, he would always keep on looking at me. He was like, thought you'd get taller. You used to be the tallest in your class, now you're just average. And now that I'm in high school, kids are saying that I'm really short. So yeah, that's what I had to deal with. Even regarding my sexuality, not sexual orientation, but my sexuality in general, I also had problems, because I just grew up in such a family that found sexual conversations to be a taboo subject and shit. So I also had rather big troubles with that too. And it took me a while to finally be completely okay with it, even though sometimes I still feel ashamed. Like, it's not that I'm completely fine now. Like, it still like hurts me at times, but on a bigger scale, things are rather better in my life overall regarding confidence, because I have managed to come to terms with some things by myself, and also things in my environment have changed a lot, which has also helped with my progress, honestly, to say the least. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that about how someone can actually achieve confidence, like some ways someone can achieve confidence, because there are lots of ways to achieve confidence and everyone's experience is different. So I cannot speak for everyone, I'm just gonna speak from experience once again. Some ways to achieve confidence is to find ways to not care about what the fuck others are saying, to shut them off, no matter what the fuck they're telling you, to not listen to them. And that can take lots of practice. It can take a lot of time to be able to shut others' opinions and others' views down and say, okay, this is what you think about the situation, I don't give a fucking crap, I'm just gonna do my shit, and if you don't like it, that's on you, not on me anymore. So this is one of the things that depression can do. It can take, like I said, lots of practice, it can take lots of time, lots of effort. It's not an easy thing to achieve, to be able to cut someone's opinions off and like shut them down completely. Just say, okay, you do you, I do me. That's not an easy thing to do. Also to be like more open to trying out new things, to like experiment around with things and to try out new things, to find yourself, because by finding ourselves we're more capable of being confident. Like, we're getting to know ourselves, we're getting to know who we are, so that helps with confidence a lot. So like being more open to trying out new things, having new experiences, experimenting with different things, being another thing, trying to think out a word that also being setting boundaries. It can help with confidence. It can help with confidence a lot when you're setting boundaries and you stick to them, because by sticking to them you're being true to yourself, you're prioritizing yourself, and prioritizing yourself can help a lot with confidence, because we're basically telling ourselves that we're the most important thing, not others. It's us and then the rest of the world. Because if we don't prioritize ourselves, who will? Who will? Like, seriously, some random man that we met outside and we went like on a few dates and now we're dating, that person's gonna prioritize us? They're probably not. They may do that for a few months, but then you don't know if they still will. You don't know that. You always have to be prioritizing yourself before everyone else, because you never know how things are gonna turn out. Who's gonna prioritize you? The person that you call your best friend? Or what if they suddenly leave? You don't know what's happening with people. People are temporary. In the end of the day, it's just you and yourself, bitch. It's not anyone else. It's you and you alone. It's just me and me alone at the end of the day. Nobody else. Me, myself, and I. So you gotta prioritize yourself before anyone else. Otherwise, you're just gonna end up sitting there like a people's pleaser. You're gonna be doing everything for everyone, and you're gonna feel like they're not giving you enough because you're giving them more than you're capable of giving someone, because you're giving everything to everyone and nothing to yourself. Like, you're giving more to other people than you're giving to your own self, which is fucking bullshit. It's awful. It's fucking awful. Like, you're giving it your all to someone else and you're not even giving half of that to yourself. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You don't know if that person is going to give you back that same energy. You don't know if that person is going to give you back everything that you're giving them. Because guess what? This person may be prioritizing themselves and you are not. You're just giving them everything and you're getting nothing in return. Or even if you are getting something in return, it's not enough for you. Because you've given them more than you should have. You're giving them more than you're giving your own self. So obviously, one of the things you need to do is to prioritize yourself. To take a look at yourself and say, am I giving myself enough? Am I being enough to my own self? How am I gonna feel like I'm good enough if I'm not being good enough to my own self? If I'm not being nice to myself, if I'm not being kind to myself, if I'm not setting boundaries, if I'm not spending time with myself, if I'm not giving myself a break, if I'm not letting myself relax, if I'm not giving myself rest, if I'm not nourishing myself, if I'm not putting fluids in my body, if I'm not hydrating myself, how am I gonna be good enough to myself? How am I gonna be able to give other people things? Some other things to do to help out with confidence. I think that as a starter, like these 2, 3, how many did I say? 2 or 3? Like, these things are like the best things, like to start with gaining confidence, like being open to trying out new things, prioritizing yourself, and then slowly to start getting out of your comfort zone, with small steps, because we cannot just immediately get out of our comfort zone and everything. It's gonna be too many things to do at once. So all of these things need to be done step by step, even with prioritizing yourself and starting new habits. Even that in itself, we need to take small steps in order to achieve these things, because if you do them all at once, you're just going to fall back to old habits, and it's going to be too much for you if you just start immediately with all the new habits you want to start. You need to start. I don't know how to explain that. You need to just take it step by step, very slowly. To start with a new habit, then like get that in your routine, and then slowly start adding things to your routine so that it doesn't get too much for you. Otherwise, it's just going to be, honestly, to me, I'm gonna say completely honestly, it's gonna be a waste of time, and you're just going to exhaust yourself even more, and it's just going to be fucking shit. Like shit. It's gonna be shit both for you and for your body, because it's gonna be too much for your brain, your body, and your soul, and everything. Last thing I want to discuss is that confidence doesn't come from how we feel about our looks only. It doesn't just come from how we feel about the way we look. It also comes from within. It comes from us accepting our personality, our flaws, embracing these things, showing compassion to ourselves about these things. It's not only about the looks. Confidence isn't just about the outside, about the way we look. Yeah, it's not just about that. It's about our personality, our mindset, about our flaws. It's about us coming from a perspective of compassion and embracing all parts of ourselves, accepting all parts of ourselves, and then working on the parts of ourselves that we think need working on, or parts of ourselves that we don't like. Like, if there's something you don't like about yourself, in a way, don't feel bad about it. Like, first, embrace that thing, accept that this is how you are at the moment, and then do something to change that thing. Don't just come from a state of hatred for that specific characteristic of yours, flaw of yours, and then think that you're gonna make change. Because by showing hate to yourself, you're only going to make the situation worse. I have tried to change my behavior from a state of hatred, and it only made it worse. Like, it made it 100 times worse. I ended up hurting people because of my own hatred for that one flaw. Because I hated that flaw so much that I was trying to change it, but in reality I wasn't changing it, I was just making things worse. So it never worked out. Exactly because I wasn't coming from a state of compassion, I was coming from a state of, I hate you, I hate this part of myself, and I want this part of myself to go away. But it's not gonna go away. It never goes away. Things aren't gonna change if you hate on yourself. If you show hatred towards yourself, you're not gonna change. You're only gonna make things worse for yourself and for everyone else around you, honestly. Because what you show to other people is a reflection of yourself, of the way you feel about yourself, of the way you act to yourself. All these things are just a reflection of yourself. So in order to gain confidence, you need to be kinder to your own self and more compassionate to yourself, and to be more accepting of every part of yourself, especially if you want others to accept you for who you are as well. Thank you to everyone who watched all these videos today. I hope it was insightful and helpful to many of you, and I really hope that it reaches lots of people and that lots of people get to see that, and I hope it helps as many people as it can. And if you ever want to discuss anything further, you can always contact me on Instagram or any of my other social media if you want. They're always linked down in the description, and I'm gonna see you on my next video. Bye guys!